Hey guys, welcome back to Adventure Camping. Tactical Nut here, and today we're going to be talking about two pairs of shoes from Xero Shoes, the Z Trails and the Terra Flex. So stay tuned. Okay guys, so who are Xero Shoes and why am I bringing their sandals and shoes to your attention? Well, for the past few years now, I've kind of started wearing a lot more what we call minimalist or barefoot style sandals and shoes. Now the reason for this is that after doing a bunch of research, you kind of find out that a lot of the shoes that you wear are actually really bad for your feet. So having your feet perform like they are supposed to, meaning that when you take a step, your toes will flex and spread, right? So in order to do that, you have to have a wider toe box on your shoes or sandals, right? Also, as you notice, these are pretty thin. They do have some thinner models. These are 10 millimeter thick, but this also, what it does is it helps you feel the ground more. Obviously, you wouldn't know this, but when I'm not at work and I'm just around the house, I'm usually barefoot. I just like it anyway, but it also just, it's better for your body, for your feet to be performing the way they're supposed to. So in order to still get that feeling and performance, I needed something to do that with. And so this was the first pair that I tried. These are Z Trails. I wrote down the specs for you so I wouldn't miss anything. You got a 10 millimeter Fill-Lite sole, which is composed of a Barefoot comfort layer of foam, trail foam in the middle, and the comfort layer foam is what your feet are going to be touching. The, what they call trail foam is in the middle, and then the sole is what they call their Feel True rubber grip. Have you noticed there's a little cupping around the heel to help your foot stay in place? They have tubular nylon webbing, and the hardware for this is nylon. Now, another benefit of these is if you've watched my videos, camping, hiking, and all that kind of stuff, I was wearing these a lot. Good thing about this is if you, let's just say, wanted to carry a regular pair of hiking boots or the Xero Shoes, these were only 5.4 ounces each. I'm a size 9 in these, and so that's the weight you're going to get. They're incredibly flexible, right? So if you notice, if you wanted to pack them down really small, you could. The soles have a 5,000 mile warranty. I wore these almost every day for about 2 years. So you definitely get the, well, I would say more than 5,000 miles because I used to keep track of my steps all the time. And so I was kind of doing some rough estimates, and I probably got 6,000 to 7,000 miles out of them. As you can see, they are well worn now. And so I needed to get something else. The only problem is I wanted to expand the amount of time that I could wear these types of shoes or sandals or whatever. So that's when I got these, right? These were what I was wearing to work for a really long time. There's a downside to these, and I'll get to that in just a second. So sometimes I do have to switch up my shoes, but I can't wear sandals to work because I'm a teacher. So you have to have something closed-toed, right? So let me read off the specs on these real quick. These are what we call the Terra Flex. So with this, obviously, hopefully you can tell, this is a pretty wide toe box compared to like regular tennis shoes, right? They weigh 9.6 ounces each. They have what they call a lugged sole for grip. So if you notice, the grip pattern is definitely much more aggressive than these right here. So if you're hiking and stuff like that in the outdoors, you're going to get a lot better grip than, like I said, with these, although these did great. Now, the sole of these shoes is a kind of a combination layer thing again. You have 5 millimeter Feel True bare base with a 4 millimeter lugs, embedded 3 millimeter bare foam inside the sole, and then as you can see here, you have a removable 2 millimeter foam cushion, and or just insole. Has a what they call Tough Tex toe bumper, right? So it helps protect your feet when they're hitting something. You have straps here. They're going to be able to go around your instep to get even better adjustment out of it and better fit. This is a mesh upper, right? And this is where I kind of found a little bit of a downside, but I'll get to that in just a second. And yes, and they do put all their stuff. All their stuff is vegan friendly. There is no animal byproducts or anything used in making these, in case that's your thing. Now, how is there a downside to these? Well, problem was where I work, I mean, it's been raining here for so much for like the past year. It seems like maybe even a little bit longer. It's just way more rain than we've ever been used to. So the parking lot where I am, it's a gravel parking lot. I teach out of a trailer, and so we have to go inside to go to the bathroom and stuff and go to lunch. And when you step in a puddle with mesh shoes on, now your socks and your feet are getting wet. So what I kind of do now is if it's raining and stuff like that, I have a pair of Columbia hiking shoes that I wear. But when it's not, or if it's not too cold, because wind does go through these as well, I do wear wool socks, but sometimes depending on how cold it got, this year was not so bad, feet can get a little cold. So love them. I mean, they work great at work. I have not really worn these on the trails at all because I was trying to keep them looking somewhat nicer for work, but they do give a great barefoot feeling. You do, I mean, because the great thing about these, both of them, is that when you're walking, you can actually feel your toes spread out and grip the ground. I mean, it's pretty incredible because, you know, my whole life wearing tennis shoes or hiking boots and stuff like that, they have a much more narrow and your feet can't move. So you really notice it a lot. So now something you just need to know is that if you're wearing shoes like these, they do put on the website, I didn't have the issue, I didn't find it necessary, that sometimes it can take your feet and your calves a little while to get used to it. So they recommend sometimes just wearing them a few hours a day until you're used to it. Me, I started off wearing them because, like I said, these were first. I wore these for almost 2 years before I got these. My feet never hurt, my calves never hurt. So you'll just have to see once you get them. Now, one of the things that I'll just have to say is that I liked these so much that I just got another pair for my birthday. So hopefully, today's date is April 23rd. So if you're watching this close to this date, I'm going to put this up today. I believe they're still running a sale. These are like half off, which is pretty awesome. So they were 40 bucks. Yeah, because they're normally 80. That's what I paid for these. So $80 for, I mean, just what I would say high performance shoes, because I wore them all the time. I wore them on the trails like crazy. Only downside to these on the trails, so I'll get to that. If you've been watching my hiking videos and seen me wear them and stuff, I've talked about them a lot, especially when I first got them, is if you're backpacking or you have a pack with a decent amount of weight on it, these are not awesome because you will feel every stick, rock, and everything else. So you have to be much more conscious of where you step. Without any weight or just a hydration pack, it wasn't bad. You still kind of be conscious of, because where I go hiking, there is just a lot of large rocks on the trails and big roots. And so you just kind of have to be conscious wearing these types of shoes, either one. But definitely if you have weight, it's not an awesome feeling. And I mean, I'm talking about like 35, 40 pound pack, you know. Depending on, I mean, if you're an ultralight person and you got it down to 25, probably not bad, but probably borderline, right? So just something to be aware of. I mean, and the fact that, I mean, if you see these, I'm wearing them in the rain. I mean, through everything, all kinds of different types of terrain. They've been through it all. They took it, just eat it up. The only thing that I will say, only issue that I had the entire time I had them, they come with these little retention straps for the excess strap here. That's just rubber. So on these shoes, over time, it was probably a year, if not longer, they broke. But being a camper, hiker, backpacker kind of guy, I have all kinds of Ranger bands, and so I just use one of those to replace it. I don't know if you could call the company or email them and get new ones, probably, but I didn't need to. I have plenty of them. Oh yeah, also this is a huge feature for me and could be for you. I have narrow feet. As you can see, I'm not a huge guy, right? And so having these Velcro across the back, wow, look at all the dirt. Going across the back means you can adjust this around your heel. Because I've had, and this adjusts, you know, obviously in a zigzag pattern over your foot. So it's going to be very secure. Your foot will slip around a little bit when it does get wet. Just be aware of that. But the having the adjustment on this, on both sides of my ankle, was tremendous because I've worn a lot of sandals in my life. I was a huge fan of Rockport for years. I still am. They're good sandals. I'm not saying they're not. But it was very hard to find sandals that would fit around my ankle well. So usually my heel would be sliding around just because I couldn't get it as secure as I would need it. But these fit the bill perfectly. All right, now, hopefully this will help you in looking for either a new pair of sandals, barefoot style. I think the next ones I'm going to try, which I may do in about a month. I'm going to keep wearing these because I love them. I'll keep wearing these whenever we get back to work. I'm still not going to take these on trail just because I use them for work. I mean, I kind of really, really want to. But where I go, it usually rains frequently enough that these, you know, there's a lot of mud on the trail, and I just don't want to go to school with really muddy shoes. It's not a big deal, but for me, you know, you do get a little cool logo on the back. Oh, let me just give you a run around the shoe, a closer look. That would probably be a good thing, right? This is them on the top. You have your Xero Shoes logo. I've never had any issues with the shoestrings breaking or anything. They do work well. There may be other types of laces that you might like better. These aren't bad. I mean, they've done exactly what they're supposed to, and they've not broken. And, oh yeah, the insole again. Just so, hopefully you can tell how raised that is. So, it's good traction. And a run around these, right? Brand new Z-Trails. So, this is going to, as you pull these straps, right, it's going to tighten up around your toes and then around your ankle. So this is what's going to kind of bring it in and also keeps your foot from sliding off that direction. Little Xero Shoe logo on here. And yeah, they're thin, right? The ones I'll probably try next, they have like a do-it-yourself kind of ones. So they'll send you the sole and straps, right, and a little kit to be able to assemble them together. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're like 25 bucks. But they're like half the thickness of this. I think they're like 5 millimeter if I'm not mistaken. So I'm just kind of curious to see how going down to even thinner, more barefoot style you could say. In case you haven't seen some other videos, I've also used the Merrell Vapor Trails. Those work really good. And a different Merrell Barefoot, right? So when I got started into, actually this has probably been 4 or 5 years, I've been getting into wearing more barefoot style shoes. Because once you start, you just kind of really like it. At least I know I have. And it's better for your knees, your legs, your back, the whole 9 yards, because your feet are doing what you're supposed to. Because what you will notice, especially when wearing these, I will say this, you will notice that you're going to start stepping toe first more often than not. Just walking around town, walking around your house, your yard and stuff, not as much. But a lot of times when you're hiking and stuff, you are going to be going more toe first, which is actually better for your body because your foot now acts like a shock absorber, right? Kind of like it's designed, instead of going like this and that shock going up your body, right? So a lot of people use these for running. I get shin splints really bad, literally 12 minutes into a run. So I don't really run much now. I do some cycling on my mountain bike, along with my workouts and stuff like that. I do work out in these, right? So it is good for that. Hiking, running, just around town, work if they allow it, around your house. I mean, they're just awesome. I love them. I highly recommend them. Like I said, if you, right now, I'll check again, but because of all this pandemic going on, they've reduced them to 40 bucks. So definitely jump on it. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I'll just try to put a link down in the description. And these are 100. So these will probably last me longer than these just because I only wear them to work. So 2 years, I mean, I've had these for almost a year already. So, I mean, you could easily probably get 3 or more out of them just because I'm only wearing it to work. And they have a whole bunch of different styles, more like some that look like dress shoes. They've got boots, all different types of sandals. There's a huge variety of stuff that they have. So if you haven't heard of them, definitely check them out. I highly recommend them. And they even have like a little sizing thing that you can print out so you can determine what size you're going to need. Because in these I'm a 9 and these I'm a 9.5. Most shoes I'm a 9.5. So you just need to see. And like I said, it's a little printout that you can print out so you can stand on it and see if your foot is in the right size. All right, guys, hopefully this will help you in finding some barefoot style sandals and shoes. Highly recommend them. I think they're great. I've loved them so much. I'm on my 3rd pair. right? If that's going to tell you something. All right, guys. In the meantime, be prepared, have fun, and get some barefoot style shoes.